Breaking news tonight, confessed Florida shooter Cruz wants to plead guilty to murdering the 17 victims as a way to avoid the death penalty. That word from the Broward County Public Defender's Office. But there's no word tonight from prosecutors who would need to agree not to ask for a capital punishment and instead agree to life without parole. Also breaking tonight, new images of the shooter, including a photo, there it is right there in the center of your screen, of him appearing to hold a gun at a window, two showing him wearing a flak jacket, one where he's also wearing an orange cap, and a photo of him wearing a uniform. We're also learning exclusively tonight that group chat messages show the shooter was obsessed with race, violence, and guns. Let's bring in now James Allen Fox. He's a professor of criminology at Northwestern University, who is the author of Extreme Killing, Understanding Serial and Mass Murder. Yes, I know there's a big difference there. Thank you for correcting me. So listen, welcome to the program. Good evening to you. Some of the things he wrote, he says, I hate Jews, N-word immigrants. After one group member said he hated gay people, Cruz wrote, shoot them in the back of the head. On payday, Cruz let the group know that he planned on spending the money on body armor. He then asked the group if it was legal to wear body armor to school. Someone asked him why he wanted to know, and he wrote, I think I'm going to kill people. We are way, way behind on red flags here, aren't we? I mean, my goodness.
Sure. But he also told them that he was joking when they called him on it. You know, these red flags are obvious in the aftermath. And that's the thing about it. There are a lot of yellow flags for lots of people out there. He's not the only one who hates Jews and blacks and gays, and not the only one who's written awful things on the internet or made videos that are disgusting and crude and violent. The issue here is how predictable that behavior is. With hindsight, well, that's 2020. Now, I know that we can bemoan the tips that were not passed down through the ranks, but think about how many tips there are every year about people who are all talk, who want to be big shots, but never actually take a shot. And so that's really the problem here. We'd like to be able to predict this behavior, but we really can't.
Yeah. James, is it common for people who commit these crimes or these kinds of crimes to have such extremist views?
Sure. Look at Dylan Roof in South Carolina. There are a number of mass killers who are filled with hate, anger, and oftentimes they go after certain groups of people that they despise. See, they're often individuals who themselves are failures, but they blame other people for their problems, and they want to get even. This man certainly does fit the profile of a mass killer, someone who's a failure at school, someone who has suffered loss of his adoptive mother, and someone who's fascinated with violence and hence full of hate. But you know, that description is not unique. It fits lots of people out there, fortunately most of whom will only dream and fantasize about killing, but will never turn their anger into action.
Yeah. Have you seen, James, this other cases where this many warning signs were missed?
Yeah, there are. And the good news is that we are so aware now of the possibility of school shootings that we've seen many averted cases. In fact, just one the other day in Washington State. Individuals who talk big, who talk about wanting to shoot, maybe even have guns, and they're turned in by relatives, by friends. Now, whether they actually would have carried out their fantasies is questionable. But the good news is that people have taken it seriously. The problem here is that's not a perfect system. There never is. It's difficult to predict behavior. If we tried to lock up every single Cruz who talked like he did, yet didn't have a criminal record, I'm not sure what we would do with all those people.
Interesting. From what we have learned so far, what are the most significant characteristics of this gunman, you think?
Well, of course, owning guns and the kinds of guns. A 19-year-old really has no business with guns like this, and I think there's been lots of talk about that too. I do want to say something about the mental health angle, and I'm glad you said something to the courageous kids a moment ago about this confusion between mental illness and mass murder. The fact is that most mass killers are not mentally ill in a severe way. Sure, they may be depressed and angry and maladjusted, but they don't hear voices. They're not people who would be committed. The problem is we're always talking about mental health and access to mental treatment in the aftermath of a shooting. Why don't we talk about that 3 weeks from now? Why are we so concerned about mentally ill? Is it because we care about the well-being of the mentally ill? No, I think it's because we care about the well-being of the people they may shoot, which only adds to the stigma, as you indicated.
Yeah, and also we want to place the blame on something else other than the obvious. As you said, the most significant characteristic of this man was the guns, and that's it.
And the blame is on Cruz. And I know the governor wants to blame folks in law enforcement, and it's unfortunate that the word didn't get through, but the real culprit here is the person who pulled the trigger.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. James Allen Fox. Thank you.
Anytime.